Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. And I'm really starting to regret the decision I made, which put me on the streets where I am right now. I am in Brooklyn. Right in front of us is Prospect Park. I have been driving in my vehicle for an hour and 20 minutes from our shop in Woodmere, which is approximately 14 miles away. You have got to be kidding me. And I'm doing all of this to service a heating system for a YouTube subscriber to the channel. What did I get myself into? Have any idea how long it took to get here? I might as well drive to like Utah. 5 minutes to 9 here in the morning, gentlemen. We're in Brooklyn.
You got your head coming down.
Yep. Ow. Ow. You did say it. I'm like, why would I be watching my head there? Like, ow. Oh, man, that hurt.
Everybody does it.
Oh, my God, that hurt.
That's what I said. But, and even over here, too. Watch your head.
Oh, man.
Right here. Watch your head.
You know, if I expanded more into Brooklyn, I could probably make a separate channel with just the stuff you see here. And
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have a front entrance.
Yeah, that's coming in off the side. When you come up the stairs, if you come to the window,
Oh,
come down.
you could make this like a garden apartment if you had midgets.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got, let's go quick little identification. We got a Whirlpool natural gas. Wow, 3-inch venting on that with some crazy elbows there to make that work.
Everything.
And it's a 40-gallon?
I don't know. This came out of my cousin's house.
40-gallon. Whirlpool, do not return. I think this one was original. Wow, it's actually fairly newer. It's got the millivolt gas valve here, but it came from Lowe's or Home Depot because it got that plastic drain cock right there. Yeah. Drain cock. No drip leg on the temperature and pressure relief valve, but it is what it is. Welcome to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And here we have, this one is a little, she's aged. This, you don't see it like that anymore. Look at that logo on this Whale McLean.
Yeah.
What was this?
Well, this is a drain. He used to lift this up.
And dump it.
And take that
cap off?
and just dump it in there, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a drain.
All right, so let's quickly identify things here. We have a pressure troll. Right? Yeah, it's a pressure troll. It's hooked up to the pigtail, and we have a pressure gauge there. We have our service switch, sight glass, low water cutoff, Hartford loop looking a little low there with that Hartford loop T. Do we have a 15 PSI relief valve? We sure do. There it is on this Watts 315. Wow. Vent piping is intact, 5-inch. We have a single pipe coming out of the top of it, 2.5-inch, that goes to 2-inch. And this is our equalizer. They're going into 1.5 inch, one pipe size down. Wow. And going there in our wet return. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. And we have a date of 4/24/15 on the water. We said it came from your cousin's house.
My cousin's house, yeah. My cousin got a new one, so by fault, like I say, he botched glooped everything. So he brought that here and he threw it in.
Very nice. Let's take a look under the hood. And as expected, we have an old White Rogers thermocouple standing pilot gas valve. We have 4 burners. And this is the EG35, which is 100,000 BTUs total input, an output of 80,000. Look at that. It's very easy math. It's an 80% atmospheric venting, natural draft, gas-fired steam boiler. Wow. Yeah. I got to tell you, they don't make them like this anymore.
It's been here a long time.
It's definitely been here a long time. If I could put an age on it, I want to guess probably the early 80s. We have a CP number right there. So if you guys want to look that up, look at that. The Whale McLean Company Hydronic Division, Michigan City, Indiana. Wow. You know, there's a lot of guys that give me a lot of money for this little piece of metal right there, by the way. Crazy. So, how can I help you this morning?
Well, every year, my father would start it up.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I left it on. I didn't shut the pilot light off, you know, when he died last year. So I started.
You normally turn off the pilot?
My father always turned it off.
Okay.
Because he turned it. He
turned the gas off with a wrench.
And then this thing would light it up.
Yep.
And when I started it up this year, I drained it. There was a lot of muck and shit in there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's got a little dirt in there, a little bit.
When I started it up, you know, you can see the flames from in there. The flames were very yellow and high.
All right.
When I started, it's not on right now, but if you want, I could throw it on.
Yeah. Burners look fairly clean.
Well, I watched your videos. And I
Excellent.
watched your videos, and I took out every one but the one with the thermocouple. I didn't want to mess with that one. I took up the 3 of them out and I vacuumed them and all of that.
So, you know, I don't think I dropped the video, but just the other day, I drove to Kew Gardens, Queens.
Okay.
You know, it was actually on Veterans Day. So I got there literally.
You got there quick. Yeah, Veterans Day.
Oh, man, I wish I was coming here on Veterans Day.
A Saturday morning or a holiday.
So the burners looked okay, but I took one out and some dust came out of it. And I was like, you know what, let's take all of them out. Yeah. And I'm like looking at the one that has the pilot burner and the thermocouple. Yeah. I'm like, all right, let's take it out, right? And what happened was, right, I go to relight the pilot. Of course, it doesn't want to relight.
Oh, God.
But what was interesting, what was ironic about that job, to test, I do a lot of things, you know, subconsciously already, because you do such repetitiveness of doing things. So instead of me blowing out the pilot, I just, I disconnected the gas going to the, I did blow it out. Yeah. Right? And I'm like, okay. I disconnected the gas tubing from the gas valve, and there was still gas coming out of it about a minute later. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. And I go to relight the pilot, doesn't want to relight. No, it doesn't want to relight. Yeah. It stays on, it won't stay on when I let go of the plunger. You don't go out. And I know, like an idiot, I go through 2 brand new thermocouples. I go, it's gotta be the thermocouple, right? And no. But, okay, so we're going to do a little tune-up here. Okay. Can I use that front door? Or that doesn't work?
That's hard to get out there.
Really? Okay. So I'm going to go to the truck, get tool bag, combustion analyzer.
If you want to go out, it's just small.
Oh, I'll get out of there. Absolutely.
I put cameras up for catalytic converter geeks over here.
Oh, you get those too, huh?
Yeah, these fucking scumbags. Oh yeah, but you're on YouTube. I don't want to curse.
No, it's okay. You can curse.
Watch your head going up.
Yeah. Here, I'll let you slide out and let's check the old school.
Yeah, this is like.
Wow.
Be careful.
I love it. I love it. Look at this. Ah, I'm alive. All right, I got my knee pad, I got my bucket, got my combustion analyzer, and I got my tool bag. And I got some knowledge. But the first thing we have to be on the same page about is that I am going to dig like I'm leaving no stone unturned. You could tell me, no, don't do that. Just do like a basic tune-up where we do a combustion analysis. That's fine with me as well. Keep in mind, when I touch something, even though it's not broken now,
it could break.
It could break. Yeah. Like the example of the thermocouple on Veterans Day. So normally, we check the pigtail. Yeah. To check the pigtail, I got to turn off power to the boiler. I got to remove the pressure troll, the wires of the pressure troll, and then spit.
I did that.
How long? When?
Like a week ago, I took the pressure troll off.
Oh, and is the pigtail clean?
Yeah, I looked in and I blew in it.
You blew through it?
Yeah.
With it removed?
Yeah, with the thing on. Because I didn't want to, like you just said, I didn't want to mess with this.
Got it. So you just took this off, and you blew through this, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like me not touch this?
You think it'll be okay?
Well, if you just did it, then why pay me to do it? But even though you pay me for my time anyway, but
Yeah.
then you know what? Let's keep that. Let that be. Let's drain the boiler down. That really came out.
Yeah, let me get it.
I have everything that we need.
Yeah, I usually just go with a channel lock and just spin it. I had it off the other day, so be careful.
No, I'm good. All right. She's free flowing.
Yeah.
Wow. If I had $1 every time something came out loose like that.
Well, that's because I had it off.
All right, so there's our sight glass water line. Let's open this up. Oh, we got a drip there on the valves.
Yeah.
It's a little loose, but let's drain down. I can see it slowly going down, and we're gonna wait for that light to go on the low water cutoff. This may take a minute. All right, as predicted, a couple minutes later, that yellow light is on. It's actually not a couple minutes though, but it's only been a couple. The water is pretty clean, fairly clean. When's the last time you took out the sight glass and cleaned that?
My father broke it about a year and a half. I think he broke it. He was cleaning it. He broke it, so he had a new one put in.
Gotcha.
He did that.
Okay.
But I didn't want to mess with it because I didn't want to break it.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to do it,
Oh, I'm going to.
Yeah.
All right.
You can put a new one in there.
I can put a new one in. Yep, I got the tools to rebuild it.
I didn't want to break it.
All right, so I used a wrench to loosen up the upper and lower sight glass nuts. And in case you're wondering why everything looks shiny right now, I like spraying everything with WD-40. It's a nice, I believe, like protectant, lubricant. It's good stuff. This is very, very snug. Wow, yeah, it's very snug. Let's see. Come on. Okay, let's not lose that washer. Let's wash this out in the sink. All right. Not lose any of the nuts. If you had a little pipe cleaner, you can use that as well to rinse out the sludge that's on the inside of the sight glass. I like to just use water, let it come naturally out. And then we'll use some paper towels just to rinse it on the inside. All right, so I just used some paper towels and cleaned the sight glass. Nice and clean. We're gonna put this in, and one of the things I noticed was that when his father broke the glass, oh, actually used one there. Oh, hold on. Let's see if the other one's with the other washer. So there is the 2 friction rings and the 2 washers. So we're gonna reinstall that and put it back together. So we have the nut, the friction ring, and then the washer. Just like that. Easy peasy. Now, if there's any deformities in the glass that's cut, I like to keep it on the bottom because if it's gonna leak right away while I'm filling up the system back. We're gonna put the top in first. Oh, what feels in there? There's something in there. No, just cocky. Yeah, and there, just like that. So let's catch the bottom if we can. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's catch the top. Okay, and let's give it a little extra on it. A little bit more than hand tight. A little bit more than hand tight is all you need. Okay, we've been draining this whole time. The The boiler now is basically empty. Let's add some water. We have that red knob right there. We're going to turn that open. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You can do a full blast if you want. Okay. And let's watch some of that mud come out of there. Just going to let that run out for a hot minute. See if we can get a lot of that cleared from the bottom of the boiler. And if we wanted to experiment, we can actually see visually, instead of it going into a drain, what this looks like. And that's some pretty nasty mud right there. You want to give that valve a close? Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna keep draining that. I want to try to keep the water level clean. We may have to do this a couple times. All right, while we're draining this continuously, let's take out some of these burners. Ooh, that's not good.
The rust in the back, right?
The rust in the back means that there's water there, or water vapor or moisture where it shouldn't be. Let's see how the other ones are. Why aren't you coming out of there? All right, I got the rest of the burners out except the one with the thermocouple on it. And let's take a look in there. We have some rust in the back side, mostly concentrated on the left-hand side. We have pieces of cast iron crumbling off the sections of the boiler. So that's not a good thing. Looking a little bit better. Let's open that up again. And we're gonna fill it up. Yeah, fully open if you want.
This valve is dripping.
Let's see, hold on. How bad is it dripping?
No, it's for the packing nut.
All right. Wow, that thing's loose. Loose as a goose.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Can you turn it still, or is it too tight? There you go. Okay, leave it open though, because I want to. We're gonna do a cavity test.
Okay.
Make sure that the heat exchanger is not compromised. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up the boiler with water to what we guess is right around the top of it, and see if there's any drips or any water in there. If it is, it's going to be an expensive winter for you, whether or not you replace the boiler now or later on. Because if you replace it later on, steam is going up the chimney instead of your home. So yeah, we're almost at the top of the upper valve, and we are a little bit down there. So I think we can now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, close that valve. Still draining. And let's see if we see anything going on down here. All right, I do not see anything dripping right now. So the question is, why is there so much rust back there? There's nothing dripping. So why is there so much rust? Now we are in a basement, and basements are typically damp in the summer times. That's why a lot of us New Yorkers, we keep dehumidifiers in our basements because they're very damp, especially on the Long Island. And technically, even though this is Brooklyn, we are technically on Long Island, the island itself. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but it's a fact.
This is the highest point in Brooklyn.
So we're probably above any water line, well above any water line. And if we weren't, you would see water here. So
This is the highest point in Brooklyn.
is it really?
Yeah, everything goes down.
Wow. So as you notice, our sight glass did clear up a lot, which I'm really starting to like that a lot. We're going to remove the piping off the 15 PSI relief valve, and we're going to put in the Surgex by Rector Seal. It helps to eliminate any surging with your steam water. Surging is when you see this sight glass violently bouncing around like crazy, and it helps inhibit more dry steam that your system actually thrives on. So we're going to finish rating this. We got a lot of the gook out of the bottom of this boiler. Take that apart, put it in the Surgex. We're going to lubricate these main burner tubes. There's 4 of them. We're only going to touch 3 of them because we don't want to have an issue with the gas valve, unless you want me to. Would you like me to take that one out too?
You put a new thermocouple, right?
Yeah, chances are you're gonna need a new thermocouple.
Yeah, because my father put that in years ago.
Okay, so let's take out the main the burner with the pilot assembly. We'll remove the gas tubing and the thermocouple from the gas valve. We're using a special wrench. All right, I'll have a link in the description box down below. This is like a flare nut or oil wrench. Some guys call it different things, but this is exactly. We have 3/8 and 7/16. The 3/8 is the perfect size for the thermocouple, and the 7/16 is the perfect size for that nut and ferrule for the pilot tubing. So let's take off our thermocouple, and I have not touched anything here, but I am going to turn off the power, and we're going to see if the pilot goes out, and it did. Next, we're going to use the opposite side and remove that. Okay. Not yet. Let's get that in there. Interesting. This is much worse than the others. Wow.
What does that mean?
We filled up the boiler. You know what? Fill it up again. Let's do it for a longer period of time. And listen, I'm not wishing bad, but I need something to explain this. You know, other than the boiler being submerged, but in water during a flood or something. But
There was never a flood.
Yeah, fully open that, and I'll monitor this. I'm gonna take my wire brush, and we're gonna try to clean out those tubes the slats in the tube that are completely rusted over. All right, so we filled up the boiler again. There's still nothing going on over there. Nothing dripping, nothing visible. So we're just going to. Yeah, look, I need something to explain why there's so much rust in the back half of this boiler, but filling up the boiler to the top and the entire, I guess, the cavity or the chest of the heat exchanger which is multiple sections that are all pushed together. If they were compromised, right, the water would drip out of it, right? So if nothing's dripping out of it, that means all the steam that's boiling in this theoretical pot on top of the stove is only going into that pipe and going into your home. I can't give you an explanation as to why there's so much rust there, but I did clean this up. Looks best it's going to be.
Yeah, sure.
And it's definitely an older beast. There's the pilot burner assembly. It doesn't even have the typical screw-in one, so we're going to use that same retention ring clamp that sits on there and put this back together and then test for leaks. All right, so I have the pilot burner and the new thermocouple on the burner tube. I have my thermocouple installed and tightened back up. My gas pilot tubing is connected, and I just sprayed the remaining burners down with WD-40. Also the gas piping and the components. I'm going to wipe that down with an oiled rag, make it look nice. We're filling up the boiler again. Don't have a water level yet, but it'll get there in a few minutes. Actually, there it is. Okay, keep going.
I took them out, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, all the burners are in. Whale McLean is actually one of the, I think the best atmospheric natural draft boilers to put the burners back in, because on US boiler Burnhams, you gotta push them in because there's a little tab on the like a dog ear on the end of the burner. Okay. You gotta put in the back first and then drop it onto the orifice on the gas manifold. Whale McLean's, I put it in the front part of the burner tube into the orifice, and then you just like drop it in place. So it's actually much easier, but it comes with experience, you know. It's still annoying regardless, but it's better than having like a HB boiler with a cast iron burner and it's still wired, chicken wire down at the back. For, the shipping wire is still there 50 years later. So, all right, let's relight the pilot. We're gonna put our gas valve control knob to pilot. And the way this works is the inner workings of this valve. We have the incoming gas supply, which is 1/2 inch. We have main gas supply, also 1/2 inch, going to the burner tubes. When I push in the plunger or this control knob on the gas control valve, I am manually opening the pilot valve, allowing gas to flow through the silverish tube called the pilot tubing, which goes to the pilot burner. It allows me to light the pilot while I'm still holding this in. While I'm holding this in, I light the pilot, I hold it down for about a minute, and enough electrical charge is generated by the pilot flame being transmitted through the thermocouple, and where this thermocouple connects to on the gas valve, there's a magnet there. And once there's enough voltage being created by the pilot, when I let this go, the magnet is gonna hold open that gas control valve on the pilot burner valve. And then allows me to turn it on for main burner ignition when it's a call for heat, when TH and TR is energized on the gas valve. So I'm gonna try to get you guys some content right there. Beautiful. Actually, you know what? Maybe keep the light off on the flash, but man, it is what it is. Okay, so there is that pilot burner light. I'm holding down that plunger, and there's that nice blue flame. And when I let this go, that should stay on. Now, it's only been about 20 seconds, and sometimes it's all you need. So our pilot burner valve is now energized by the small millivolt charge, which is roughly around the teens or 20s of millivolts, which is a milli of a volt. So no more than 30 millivolts of power is actually keeping this magnet open, allowing gas to flow through the pilot valve. Now we're gonna close this. We've been draining it since, I don't know, for the last probably hour. I wanna get this water nice and clean. We've confirmed and triple checked that the heat exchanger is intact. I am now gonna take apart the drip leg tubing off of the pressure relief valve to add the Surgex. And the drip leg is way too short, but it is what it is.
Is that a big deal that there's not one in this pipe? Does that matter?
It's a code violation.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Is it a big deal?
I know the last one had it, I guess, because he changed his valve.
Yeah.
So.
Picture it this way. Okay? Let's say you, your wife, or whoever, or a child, or anyone is standing here working in the laundry sink, doing laundry, what have you. Mm-hmm. This is a temperature and pressure T and P valve. Yeah. The temperature that it opens at is 210 degrees. Okay. The pressure that it opens at is 150. Okay. If you did not have this on the water heater, and the water heater malfunctioned, and it happens, not often, but it happens, right? This will decimate this house and land probably at least a mile away.
Oh shit.
Yes, it will destroy this house when it takes off like a rocket and go up generally, because that's where it fails, usually on the bottom.
Okay.
But imagine if it doesn't. So, but forget all that.
Yeah.
Imagine you're working here, doing something, doing the laundry. This thing lets off at steam.
You're dead.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
fucked,
burnt.
right?
Yeah.
But if it was piped down to the ground, one pipe diameter no more than 6 inches off the floor,
Oh, so it goes down.
it'll go there. Maybe you'll burn your feet or whatever, but at least it's not going to spray
Your face,
all over you. So that's why there are drip legs on relief valves.
Oh, I was just curious.
Yep, now you know
I
why.
always hear you talk about it.
Yeah, because...
There's a lot of places you go don't have it.
Exactly. Okay. Now I did just take this off in an unorthodox approach, but they will probably crucify me in the comments section. Mikey Pipes, you're risk damaging the threads. Look, I damaged the thread. Shut the front door. Now, we know the boiler hasn't been on for a while, and we've drained it multiple times, but we still want to exercise caution and care when removing this. A couple weeks ago, I was removing the pigtail off of the top of a McDonnell Miller, number 67 low water cutoff. It's one of those float ones with the levers built into the low water cutoff. We have to blow it down once a month to keep all the gook out of it clean. I was doing that on the boiler. The boiler basically has no water in it, right? But when I took off the pressure control off the pigtail, I got blasted with water because the pigtail, something inside the low water cutoff was clogged. And my hand, yes, and my hand is almost recovered. You know, for a while I was not married because I didn't have to wear my wedding ring, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I see my girlfriend. She doesn't want to be reminded I have a wife." All right, so we're gonna take the Surge X, which is right here. Good stuff. There's a link in the description box down below if you want to buy this stuff. If you're a DIY guy, it's great stuff. And the relief valve connection, if it's on top of the boiler, is a great location to put that into your system. We're going to use some Teflon tape, put this back together, and then fill the boiler back up, and then we could test for combustion.
On there, but I just watch YouTube all day long, and I was doing boiler things, and you popped up, and I said, "Wow, this guy's interesting."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been watching for a while now.
I've been doing videos, posting daily, or creating videos daily for about almost 6 years now. I started the channel right before Hurricane Sandy, but I was just experimenting with it at the time, with YouTube at the time. I wasn't really. I look at my videos now, which are still public. You know, on the early.
Much different.
I'm very monotone. I'm like no personality. I'm like, who is this guy? I wouldn't even watch myself. And I've done, because this is now a business.
Yeah, sure.
You know, the amount of.
It makes you money,
Yeah, the amount of money that it generates, as far as, you know, the ads that you guys watch while the video's playing, you know, is substantial.
Yeah.
You know, but I work, or I go to my career to create content, not to get paid, not the other way around, to go to work to get paid to create content. So I've watched many, and I've had consultants, you know, give me advice on how to make things better for the audience and how to engage better. But I started being more, I guess, active on YouTube because of one particular YouTube plumber, which I've mentioned several times.
the guy.
And who actually is whatever.
Is that the guy in Florida? There's one guy you mentioned. He said
No. He's actually in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And at the time, I needed a new combustion analyzer. I had a back rack combustion analyzer that was basically dead.
Yeah.
And the company I sent it in to fix it said I need to buy a new one, and they were very expensive at the time. I was like, oh my God. So I found this one YouTuber. He's making videos about his Testo 320 combustion analyzer, or whatever the number it was at the time. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah. So I bought one because of him. And then I started watching more of his videos. Like, oh my God, this guy's got like 40,000 followers, subscribers. So like, and he's a little not my kind of style of a plumber because he's rough around the edges, treats his customers like shit, whatever. But I was like, all right, you know what? Let me start making some videos. Yeah. And when you go from like 5 subscribers, that first 1,000
hard, right?
is a very, very difficult journey. Like my own son, Connor, he has his own YouTube channel for his business that he buys and sells cars, wholesale and sells them retail. Him and his business partner, are closing on a transaction in Florida on a very large piece of retail property that has an existing car dealership they're taking over, that they're buying, right? And that shows, but it's crazy. But he gave up on it because you have to put the effort in, and the results don't come instantly, and you don't know what video is going to go viral. You have no idea. All right, that's in place. We're going to add the sight glass protection rods back to the sight glass, and then we're going to fill the boiler back up with some water halfway and fire this bad boy up. All right, we've added the Surgex to the boiler, reassembled everything. We tested the low water cutoff. We're not touching the pressure troll. We cleaned all the main burners. Our gas valve is now to the on position. I like making everything look nice and neat and tight there, and I hope you guys like that and approve that. Looks pretty good, because this was the second thermocouple. Actually, this was the first thermocouple that I used on Monday's job, where I blow out the pilot and the gas valve's still flowing. So we reused that there. We're going to turn on the heat. Stand over there just in case. Not too far away, but I guess God forbid something goes wrong here. We'll turn the power on. The low water cutoff will complete its cycle of getting power for the first time with power cycle off. And as long as everything is good here, we should have ignition. It's a very, very simple boiler. There's only two safety components of this older Whale McLean boiler. First safety is the low water cutoff. This is the CG400. Yep, cycle guard by hydro level. That's one of the two, and that is two of the two, the pressure troll. We just had main ignition. My Testo combustion analyzer is ready to go. Let's check our flames real quick. Not too shabby. Let's test combustion. So now this is going to be inserted on the top of the boiler before it mixes with the drafted air up from the bottom of the diverter. And we're going to check our numbers here. So we like to have under 50 parts per million of carbon monoxide. As you can see, we are skyrocketing. 200, 225. Our O2 is at 4.9, 4.6, 4.4, 4.1. We have a stack temperature of 270. And let's see what the O2 is. Wow, 2.8, 2.6 O2. 10.3 of CO2. And this is when we make an adjustment to our gas control valve, and then we check for our outlet pressure. Wow, 1.9. This is it's a little nuts, a little cuckoo there.
Yeah, like I say, the flames look high, and it actually shut itself off. Maybe the pressure control shut itself off.
Maybe, but
because I had it running and it shut down.
Yeah.
And the water was like going a little. You heard the water surging.
This is a prime example of my trademarked phrase: if you ain't testing, you're guessing. Yeah. You're at 1.7 of O2. That is very, very low. Let's make some adjustments to the gas valve. If you're not qualified to do such, you're not going to find out how we do it on this video, but we have to adjust the gas pressure on the outlet side of this gas control valve. I'm not showing it only because it's a big, big, huge liability. If you mess up, you're going to blame Mikey Pipes, and lawyers have more money than I do. You can tell because I didn't win my fight against one particular manufacturer. So I'll catch you in a few minutes. All right, we completed our adjustments to the gas control valve. Let's Let's take a look at our numbers. We have a stack temperature of 403 degrees. We're at 6.3% of O2, 16 parts per million of carbon monoxide, 15 and dropping. Overall gross efficiency of 82.4%, and our CO2 at 8.13%. Now that CO2, we like to be between 6.5 and 8. Carbon monoxide, anything under 50 is acceptable. Gross efficiency, this isn't technically an 80% efficient boiler. The numbers don't lie right there. We have an input of 100,000 and output of 80. That's a difference of 20%. Hence, every dollar that you give this of fuel, 80 cents are used to heat, and 20 cents goes up the chimney. We're at 7 parts per million of carbon monoxide now, 6.4 of CO2, and we have a stack temperature of 408 degrees. Let's clipboard this and let's check for draft. All right, I printed the results from the Combustion analyzer printer. There's all the numbers. I put it in a U-line shipping baggie. You can get these, I don't know, a box of like 10,000 for like $100. Very nice. I believe this is 4x6. I've experimented with different sizes over the years. That's the best looking size. We don't seal the top up. That way in upcoming years, we could print more results and keep them there. We're going to take a picture of that and put it on the customer service record. Off camera, we put on a valve tag on the 4 important valves in this home. One for the gas for the boiler, gas for the water heater feed valve, boiler feed valve. Threw our sticker on there covering up Keyspan's old sticker. Keyspan's been out of business for 20 years. It's a moot point. Our water level looks good, and what we can now do is, how do you turn this light off? His complaint, if you recall, was
Orange.
Well, I just banged the top of it a little bit, but move that over a little bit for you. We still got some orangeness, but we do have some blue flames there. And died down considerably. And we did adjust the gas outlet pressure on the gas valve considerably and confirmed that not only is the boiler operating properly, but also safely. Let's grab our thermal imaging camera this is the E2 by Guide SenSmart. They're busting my chops. They're like, oh, Mikey Pipes, we sent this to you 2 months ago. You haven't made a video yet. I have. You guys complain. Look at that. That's pretty cool. See that? Look at that. That is pretty epic. I just grabbed the thumbnail for the video, but oops. You could take a look at, you can see temperature differences in color. And there's an equalizer. Right, and there's the water level, the boiler right there. You can see how hot that is there. You can check out our flue piping, the exhaust going into the chimney. It's pretty cool. The water heater just turned off, but you can see that that is also hot. Let's follow the steam piping. Cooled off considerably over here. See? Either this air valve on the end of the... Is there an air valve there?
That could be wrong.
There's the wet return drop. Yeah, no, so this radiator, because this is cold, that's cold as well. The valve, the air valve on the radiator, the silver looking thing, is probably not working. Well, the valve on the radiator is closed. Let's take a look on our steam piping here. There's that one pipe there, and watch how it like disappears in color right here. And this is where it cools off. So you're about 15, 20 feet from the boiler. There, it's nice and hot, 210 there, 212. And when you get right here, it drops off considerably. And if we go to the end of our run, we don't have a steam main air valve on it. You know, and it makes you wonder, you know, 150 years ago when this house was built, this piping was put in at that same exact time. Like, where's the steam main air valve there? You know, and you see that every so often, but on newer systems, maybe from the 1920s, 1930s, you won't see systems without steam main air valves on it, because essentially you're without having a steam main air valve at the end of this main, you're relying on the little silver things on each radiator to let out all the air. You have an open system, right? When the boiler's off, there's air in this pipe. It's not like a hydronic boiler where you have a water system. When the steam is off, the boiler's off, like in the summertime when the boiler's not running, you have air in the piping. Now, when that boiler boils water, that steam moving 30, 35, 40 miles an hour, right? When air can get pushed out of the way. So the purpose of the air valves on the system is to remove air, and once it senses water vapor, to close. Because if you let out the steam, you're going to have to replenish that lost water, and then that will compromise the heat exchanger. And that's why when you had said your father had added water to the boiler about once a month, that's perfect, right? When that becomes more frequent, that once a month becomes a couple times a month, to a couple times a week, to a couple times a day, you got to think to yourself, where's all this water going? Right? And if you don't see it leaking anywhere, that means it's going up your chimney.
Oh, it's going out there.
Right? And you're heating the atmosphere. And only God can heat the atmosphere. Unless you're Korean. All right, ladies and gentlemen. 10:30. Damn. If you live in the Long Island, New York City metropolitan area, and you're tired of being bamboozled by your plumber, call my company. I'll tell you it like it is. Keep it real. And we don't inflate or exaggerate anything. If it needs to be replaced, we're going to recommend that. If it's questionable, we're going to have a conversation about it. 516-348-6300 is my number, or you can book an appointment online and save time at pipedoc.net. Hopefully it doesn't take me 2 hours to get back to our neck of the woods. Until next time, be well, God bless, stay safe.